All right, so I just took a marker, not a waterproof marker, just a marker, and scribbled all over this paper, under paper here. And then everybody has different size journals, so I just thought this would be the easiest way to demonstrate how to cut it. So basically, I laid my journal out flat on this piece of paper and just tore along the edge. And I also like a unclean edge. I like the torn look. Anyway, so I just pulled it all the way to the end, and then I laid it on my journal and just kind of folded it where I wanted it, and then made so that one flap folded over the other was important to me. So that's how I measured the piece that we're going to be working on. Now I took some instant coffee, a spray bottle. I put it in this little ceramic, this enamel tray, and I just sprinkled some coffee down. And now I'm taking a foam brush and like mixing it in with the water. And every now and then you'll see me peek because I'm trying to make sure that marker on the inside, the marks on the inside are bleeding, because I kind of wanted them to bleed. There we go. Yeah, that's what I was wanting. I know, trust me on this. It ended up giving it a really cool look. And I was going to use it for the inside, and then after I saw how cool it looked, I used it for the outside. I end up making a bigger mess than I ever anticipate, so I had to get another piece of under paper to throw under there. And so now I'm just kind of smushing that water all around, and getting the coffee and the bleed marks from the marker, moving it around. And then what I do is I just make sure it's all everywhere, and then I let it dry. I crumple it up a little bit, and then I pull it all out and let it dry. Then I'm going to take the clip art that I'm using. This is from my website, but you can use any clip art you want to. But I'm taking the pieces of clip art that I'm using, and I'm also dipping them in the remnants of the coffee, and then I'm running them through a sticker maker after they dry anyways. If you're familiar with me, I love a good sticker maker. I have 3 sizes and I love them. And so I'm running it through the sticker maker. There we go. Okay, so first thing that I noticed is that there's no contrast, and I love contrast. So I took a bright white Posca pen, any kind of acrylic or gel pen will work, and added some scribbles and some lettering, just kind of to add some contrast to this, because there was just no contrast. And so on here I'm writing "Love at Home." And then I was going to write on the leaves, but then I paused because I needed to do something first. So I'm measuring it out, and I know that sticky piece is going to run over, and I need it to not be stick to the other page. So I'm laying a scrap piece of vintage paper behind it, and I'm laying it down, and then I'm just going to cut around the back of this so that it doesn't so that it cleans it up a little bit, makes it a little less noticeable. Cleaning up this back edge. All right. So you can see here there's not a lot of contrast, so I need to bump up the contrast, and so that's why I use a white Posca pen. I'm loving all the grungy colors, and I just like how it looks. Here I'm putting the home on the inside flap and adding, so like you'll see me take the Posca pen and then I rub it with my finger. I just don't want a defined line, and so I just kind of smudge it a little bit. And then I added 3 little hearts. And then making sure it's dry. And now I'm testing it. There we go. Now I added some stitches, so I stitched the houses and the leaves on, and that's why I was waiting to add the Posca afterwards, so that I could go over the stitches as well. So now I'm just kind of scribbling. I like to loose scribble over those leaves, and so I'm doing that now, adding a little contrast to the whole setup. Now I'm taking the Yes glue and I am pasting the edges first. I go around the edges just to make sure those edges are have good glue on the edge. If you don't, then they kind of raise and it'll annoy you. So just do the edges first, carefully, not to make it squishy on the edges. Just coat the edges really well. You can use a glue stick, you can use anything. You could even probably stitch this if you wanted to, but I love this Yes glue, so that's what I'm using. It sticks really well and holds, and I really like it. So now I'm laying it down and I'm going to let it dry. Now I've taken some pictures of my family, and I am, I cut a house the same size as that house on the front flap out of vintage paper. And vintage paper through the sticker maker is the biggest pain, but I continue to do it because I like vintage paper. So it tears and rips, and I just kind of embrace it. So I just cut this, I used my template of the house to cut another piece out of the vintage paper, and I am adding it to the back so you can't see all the stitches on that side. It was kind of bugging me a little bit, so I did that. So now I've taken and cut my my husband and I, a picture of the husband and I, at an angle a little bit to put over the roof of the house. That glare you can't see, but that's my husband right there. So now I've taken various pictures of our family, and I have backed them on vintage paper, and I'm putting them all around us because love at home, our family. I just thought that was perfect. And so now I am adding, I'm layering a little bit. So that picture of my husband and I didn't push it down all the way, but I needed it there to know where to layer some of the pictures. And so that last picture kind of had was over the flap, so I'm just kind of trying to bend it, crease it a little bit so that it'll fold real nice. And then I'm just adding black Posca marks, and then I'm gonna add notes to when the pictures were taken, what was happening, that kind of thing, just like documenting some memories a little bit. I love using pictures in journal layouts because I think that they bring home that sentiment that is so lovely, especially in a documented journal. And so here I am just adding the marks and the final touches. I hope you enjoy.